was a warm summer evening when I first laid eyes on Lisa. We met at a friend's party, a lively gathering with laughter echoing through the spacious backyard, the scent of barbecue in the air, and the soft hum of live music in the background. I wasn't expecting much from the evening. In fact, I had planned to stay for just an hour or two, but then Lisa walked in, and everything changed. She had an aura that commanded attention. Her smile was radiant, and her laugh was the kind that made you want to join in, even if you didn't know the joke. Lisa was wearing a simple yet elegant dress that accentuated her natural beauty, and her confidence made her even more captivating. We met while waiting in line for drinks. She made a joke about the bartender's slow pace, and I responded with a witty remark. That exchange turned into a conversation that lasted the entire evening. I learned so much about her that night. She was an interior designer, passionate about creating beautiful spaces that told stories. She loved art, had a deep appreciation for music, and dreamed of traveling to Paris one day to visit the Louvre. From that first meeting, Lisa seemed perfect. Our chemistry was undeniable, and as the night ended, I couldn't resist asking for her number. She smiled and said, "I was hoping you would." From there, things moved quickly. We began dating, and within a year, I proposed to her on a picturesque beach at sunset. Lisa said yes, and for a while, it truly felt like I had found my happily ever after. Our marriage started strong. We were that couple everyone envied, or so I thought. We traveled together, hosted dinner parties, and supported each other's careers. Lisa was the ideal wife, attentive, loving, and always full of ideas to keep our relationship exciting. When our daughter was born, I thought we had reached the pinnacle of happiness. But over time, small cracks began to form. Lisa started spending more time on her phone, smiling at messages she said were from work colleagues. She'd go out more frequently, citing work dinners or client meetings. At first, I didn't think much of it. She had always been sociable, and her work required networking. Then there were the unexplained absences. She'd come home late, smelling of perfume that wasn't hers, or with vague excuses that didn't quite add up. Once, she even canceled a family outing last minute, claiming she had a work emergency. But later, I saw photos of her at a restaurant on social media. When I asked her about it, she brushed it off, saying it was a last-minute client meeting. I began to feel uneasy, but Lisa was so good at redirecting the conversation and making me feel guilty for doubting her. "Don't you trust me?" she'd ask, her eyes wide and hurt. And every time, I'd back off, convincing myself that I was being paranoid. Our 10th wedding anniversary was supposed to be a celebration of love and commitment. The house was filled with people, family, friends, and neighbors, all there to celebrate what I thought was a milestone in our happy marriage. Lisa had gone all out with the decorations, food, and music, playing the role of the perfect hostess. My parents were there, beaming with pride, sharing stories about our wedding day. Lisa was her usual charming self, mingling effortlessly and making everyone feel welcome. It was a night I had looked forward to for months, a chance to celebrate everything we had built together. Halfway through the evening, my daughter came up to me, her face pale and her eyes wide with worry. "Dad, don't go into the kitchen," she said, grabbing my arm tightly. Her voice trembled and her grip was firm, as if she were trying to physically hold me back. Confused, I gently moved past her and walked into the kitchen. What I saw stopped me in my tracks. Lisa was in Mark's arms, my best friend's arms. They were locked in an embrace that wasn't just friendly. Her hand was in his pocket, lingering in a way that left no room for misinterpretation. They turned to see me standing there, frozen in shock. Instead of guilt or shame, Lisa smirked. "Oh, come on," she said, her tone casual, almost mocking. "I've been cheating on you for years, right under your nose. You didn't even notice." My daughter, who had followed me into the kitchen, added the final blow. "Yes, Dad, everybody knows. He's like our second dad." I felt like the ground had been pulled out from under me. My mind raced, trying to process what I had just seen and heard. Lisa's betrayal was bad enough, but her audacity, her complete lack of remorse, was infuriating. And Mark? The man I considered my brother? His presence in that moment turned the knife even deeper. I couldn't speak. The words wouldn't come. I turned and walked out of the kitchen, out of the house, and into the cool night air. I needed to think, to breathe, to make sense of it all. My mind was a whirlwind of emotions: anger, betrayal, sadness, and disbelief. How long had this been going on? How many lies had I believed? But beneath the storm of emotions, a quiet resolve began to take shape. This wasn't just about a cheating wife and a disloyal friend. This was about betrayal on a level that demanded action. I wasn't going to let them walk away from this unscathed. They had destroyed my family, and I was going to make sure they faced the consequences. When I walked back into the house, I was calm on the surface, but beneath that calm, a storm was brewing. Lisa and Mark didn't realize it yet, but they had just unleashed a side of me they'd never seen before. After the shock of the anniversary betrayal, I spent days replaying our years together, searching for signs I had missed. I wanted answers, not just about the affair, but about why Lisa had chosen to destroy our family. One evening, while packing her things to move out, I confronted her, demanding the truth. Lisa was defiant at first, brushing me off with snide remarks like, "You're too boring to keep my interest." But when I pressed harder, she finally snapped. "You've always been so predictable, so safe," she spat. "Mark made me feel alive. He gave me excitement, adventure, everything you never could." Her words stung, but they also revealed the truth. Lisa wasn't just disloyal. She thrived on chaos and thrill. Our stable, peaceful life, which I had worked so hard to build, wasn't enough for her. She craved the adrenaline rush of secrecy, the danger of deception. But there was more. As she continued, I realized Lisa had been harboring resentment for years. She felt overshadowed by my career, believing that my success as a financial consultant came at the expense of her happiness. "You never made me feel like I mattered," she said bitterly. Her justification for the affair was twisted and selfish. It wasn't about what I lacked, but about her inability to find contentment in anything stable. Mark, with his carefree demeanor and reckless habits, became her escape, a temporary high that ultimately destroyed everything. While her explanations offered clarity, they didn't absolve her. Instead, they solidified my resolve to make her and Mark face the consequences of their actions. Lisa moved in with Mark shortly after I filed for divorce, and for a while, they seemed inseparable. Social media was flooded with photos of them at fancy restaurants, exotic vacations, and cozy nights by the fireplace. They flaunted their relationship shamelessly, as if daring me to react. But beneath the glossy surface, cracks began to show. Mark, a man who thrived on attention, quickly grew tired of Lisa's demands. She expected the same excitement and passion she had felt during their affair, but reality set in. Mark wasn't the charming lover she had idealized. He was irresponsible, unfaithful, and selfish. Rumors started circulating about Mark seeing other women, and Lisa's once radiant smile faded. The excitement she had craved turned into paranoia and insecurity. She tried to control Mark, showing up unannounced at his office and tracking his movements, but it only drove him further away. Within months, their relationship crumbled. Mark left her for a younger woman, leaving Lisa humiliated and alone. She tried reaching out to mutual friends for support, but most of them had already distanced themselves, disgusted by the affair. Even her own family criticized her, refusing to condone her actions. Lisa's fall from grace was swift and brutal. The woman who once thrived on chaos now found herself drowning in it, with no one to pull her out. While Lisa and Mark's relationship imploded, I was quietly executing my revenge. I knew that reacting impulsively would only make me look weak, so I took my time, planning every move with precision. First, I hired a private investigator to gather evidence of their affair. The photos and messages he uncovered were damning, leaving no doubt about their betrayal. Armed with this evidence, I ensured that the divorce proceedings would go in my favor. The court awarded me full custody of our daughter, the family home, and a significant portion of our joint assets. But I wasn't done. Mark, a real estate agent, relied heavily on his reputation to attract clients. I anonymously leaked the evidence of his affair to a popular local blog. The story spread like wildfire, tarnishing his image and costing him several high-profile clients. Next, I turned my attention to Lisa. She had started a new job at an interior design firm, hoping to rebuild her life. I sent the evidence of her betrayal to her boss, along with a polite note explaining the impact her actions had on our family. The firm, unwilling to associate with such scandal, terminated her contract. I didn't stop there. I reached out to Lisa's creditors, ensuring they were aware of her unstable financial situation. Within weeks, her credit score plummeted, leaving her struggling to secure even basic loans. My revenge wasn't about destroying her life. It was about holding her accountable for the pain she caused. Every move I made was calculated, ensuring she understood the gravity of her actions. Months later, Lisa's life was in shambles. She had lost her job, her reputation, and the man she destroyed our family for. She reached out to me, begging for forgiveness, but I had nothing left to give her. My focus was on my daughter, who had endured so much turmoil because of her mother's selfishness. Meanwhile, I was rebuilding my life. I started therapy to process the betrayal and joined a support group for single parents. These steps helped me heal and become a stronger, more resilient person. My daughter and I grew closer, finding solace in each other as we navigated this new chapter together. One day, I received a letter from Lisa. In it, she apologized, not just for the affair, but for everything. The lies, the manipulation, the pain she caused our daughter. She admitted that she had made a terrible mistake and would regret it for the rest of her life. Though I appreciated her apology, it didn't change anything. Forgiving her didn't mean I had to let her back into my life. I wished her well, but made it clear that we were moving forward without her. As for Mark, his career never recovered, and he faded into obscurity. The man who once thought he had won everything lost it all, just like Lisa. In the end, my revenge wasn't just about punishing them. It was about reclaiming my power and finding peace. I shared my story not out of spite, but as a cautionary tale. Betrayal has consequences, and the truth always comes to light. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and press the notification bell. This way, you'll stay updated with more shocking real-life stories.